despite as much the amount I talk, I still forget things. I say worthless things and I forget the things I want to say. Siobhan has been our team mom this year.
Whoa, here.
I haven't had to do which is to my liking. She did the popcornopolis, she did whatever. I didn't do anything, and I hate all that administrative stuff, and it's a lot of work. And I really, really appreciate Siobhan volunteering. I didn't even ask to ask. You know, usually you're begging somebody to be the team mom. She volunteered before anybody even asked her to, and then just took it and did everything. So none of the rest of us had to do that. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers again for her.
Wow.
I knew that. I knew Thank you. Good work, Patty. Good work, Patty. Of
Whoa.
course, I want to thank all of the parents because you guys, it is a really, really good and special group of kids and parents and families. You know, I've been around youth sports my entire life, and some groups are, you know, they're all special in their own way, but some are more special than others. And sometimes you got the one kid is a malcontent or the one parent is a malcontent. Kind of ruins the whole experience for everybody. And here, everybody's malcontent, so you all work together. And no, everybody was always, no matter what I asked anybody to do, everybody was supportive of doing it. Moms would be in the middle of a conversation, and I'd say, I need the balls picked up in the outfield, and all of a sudden, seven moms, whatever. Or dads. That's you, definitely. We'll get to this mic in a minute. I don't know really how it came about, but I just asked Mike to take the equipment to the shed, I guess, one day. I don't remember how it came about. And then I told Mike the combination to the shed. And then I told Mike, where's the equipment? And I never either had to bring the equipment out or take the equipment back. Between Mike and Jeff, and presumably Mike Gardner as well, but he had a lot of responsibilities with T-ball and all this stuff. But I mean, and Domingo helped out, everybody helped out. But I could always count on the equipment being there between Mike and Jeff, and then the equipment being put away so that I could do my favorite pastime, which is dragging the field, watering the see. The thing about if you become a field maintenance person, you can save a lot of money on psychotherapy. You just sit there and you water and you clean, and your shrink is the field, okay? And so I actually enjoy that. I don't like doing it at home, but for some reason I love doing it on a baseball field. And I'm so sick that after the Dodger games, I stay for an hour and a half until they kick me out, watching the guy, you know, scrape the dirt off of the grass with a rake. But so thank you, Mike Dorsey. And then he. I don't know if you knew how to keep a scorebook or not, but all of a sudden,
I still don't. I really. I think that's really the most rudimentary.
So I really, really appreciate
You know
that.
what, Jack, can I just step in there and say that we did want to say thank you to Mike.
Oh, nicely done.
Wow.
I did that too. That's why I had you step right up. That's why I had you step in there.
We have good times.
Nicely done. Yeah. You should go pro. You all get first row seats and go pro.
Maybe $1 million.
And then I never had the pleasure of coaching with Mike Gardner before until this year. And I didn't really know Mike all that well. I kind of knew him from afar. And Mike did an unbelievably great job with the T-ball program. This year I wasn't there, but I know he was, and I heard wonderful things. I saw him running all these T-ball practices and everything. And then when he was done with T-ball, he'd come over and help us out as much as he could. And then I said, can't you find somebody, because he was so valuable to us, I said, can't you find somebody else to do T-ball? The Royals. But, you know, he felt a responsibility over there, and rightfully so, and he worked over there a lot, and then whenever he could, he helped out on our team, and he did a great job. And I wish, there's a couple of things I'll talk about at the end that I kind of regret this season, one of which, if I forget to mention it later, is that I didn't give Mike and Jeff, quite frankly, more responsibility. In case nobody kind of recognizes this, I'm kind of a control freak. And so that's to my detriment, especially when you have qualified people who are willing and able to help. So that's to my and to the team's detriment. But Mike was always willing to do anything that we asked him to, and he's very knowledgeable about baseball. He was really, really helpful. It was really a pleasure getting to know him and coaching with him this year.
It was nice being on the team instead of against you guys.
Hey, when I knew that. And then Jeff, and by the way, you're going to get to talk too when we talk about each of the kids. Jeff is, for those of you who don't know, my parents' 2 doors down neighbor for the last 40.
My grandpa.
Your grandpa, but my parents' neighbors for a long time. 40 years or something like that. 44 years. So it's interesting when I sometimes on a Saturday morning show up at my parents' house, you know, for whatever reason I need money still, you know, whatever reason I'm over there, and I see Jeff and his boxers hanging out at our breakfast table with my mom. I mean, it's interesting, but that's about the kind of relationship that they have after 44 years of being neighbors. And they're great friends, and Jeff has been, I don't know how many years we've been coaching together, but it's been a while. Too many for you, I'm sure, but he still endures it. And Jeff is just absolutely essential to me because if I'm stuck in traffic or whatever the situation, he's always there. He is going to get his huge salary cut in half. Actually, let's just cut it by 99% for this year because I think he took a day off and he went to Colorado. So he wasn't there once, and so we're just going to cut his pay. But Jeff is, again, extremely knowledgeable about baseball and extremely helpful and lets me yell at the kids, and then when I'm not, he is. So it's perfect. We really have this. And Holden, we'll talk about that in a minute because you poor thing, you get double duty. Holden! It's about the same volume twice, just slightly different pitch. One's coming from me and one's coming from your grandpa. So you poor thing. But Jeff, thank you. So without
Oh.
So these are in no particular order. Melanie, I need the candy. The first one is, the first person we're going to talk about is Scott. These are in no particular order. So Scotty boy, where are you? Scotty boy, get up here. Now you got to come up here. You got to turn around. You got to face your accusers. Okay? So Mike, why don't you say a few words about Scott, and then Jeff is, and then I'm going to give him an award.
All right. You gotta warn us which kid is coming up now.
Scott, this is stream of consciousness thinking. Liam.
Scott, one of the things that I really appreciate you is no matter who is talking to you, no matter who's yelling at you, you just look at them, you absorb it, and you just do what they ask you to do. You're extremely coachable, which makes you a joy to have on the team. And no matter what we ask you to do, we know that you're going to go do it, and that you're paying attention all the time.
I just reiterate that pretty much the same way. I mean, you tell him one thing, and he's pretty much gathers in what you're talking about, and how he's kind of adapts to when to pitching, and how he really excelled at that, and really not doing it much in the year. So how much improvement he did make, and how much he improved over the year. You're welcome.
And I remember Scott from last year. He had our game-winning hit in the championship game, and I still remember that, Scott. I hope you remember that for a long, long time. It's moving when you see in different ways when you see a kid cry. When you see a kid cry because he just got hit by a pitch, you understand, okay? So you say, okay, the kid hurt for a second, right? Scott, I've never seen cry. Well, I've seen him tear up a little bit every once in a while at different times, but not so much as I did in the second to the last game we played when he got an opportunity to pitch and struggled a little bit. And I felt horrible. Because it showed me how much Scott cared and how much Scott wanted to do well and succeed. And I felt bad because I kind of, the intent was to put him in a position where he could have fun and succeed. And then with him tearing up a little bit, I thought that I had put him in a position where he thought he had failed. And you hadn't failed, Scott. You got very little opportunity to pitch this year. One of the real regrets I have about this season is that I didn't work more with you, Kenny, and Jake, and even Tyler, and maybe even some others, actually Liam and Nika. The problem with our team was everybody was capable of pitching, okay? It's rare that you have 12 players, all of whom want to pitch and are capable of pitching. So now you have what ultimately becomes an hour and 45-minute drop dead time, and you're lucky if you get 3 or 4 innings in, and one kid wants to pitch 1 inning, and you're trying to get a little work and all that. So the good part about this year was a lot of kids got to pitch. The bad part about this year is some of the pitchers didn't progress as much as they otherwise would have gotten to had they pitched more, and that we put kids in positions to pitch when they didn't necessarily have a lot of practice before that. But Scott, you are going to be a good pitcher. When somebody has some time to spend with you and train you, you are going to be a good pitcher. Right now, you still got the elbow a little low. You got to get on top, get out front. But you are going to be a very, very good pitcher. Okay. So I didn't want you to feel bad about that one. And the reason we gave you the chance to pitch in that game, in that playoff game, is because the time before when you had pitched, you had done unbelievably well, even without all that much practice or all that much experience. But you didn't get a pitching award. What you got after all that is you played a lot of different positions, but a lot of second base, and you hit a lot of different places throughout the lineup. You made some great plays at second base and in other positions. Was it the last game where a really, really hard ball was hit to you? Yeah, somebody had a rocket on one hop right to you, and then I thought the thing was going to eat you up. No way, man. You ate it up, and you made a good play and threw him out. I thought it was a one-hopper. Oh, there was 2 of them. Look at you guys thinking about it. Okay. Yeah. So, and anyway, your guys remember, okay? So you did a great job of both fielding and hitting throughout the year, like I said, in different positions, and we called all those great plays whoppers. So you got what we would call the Whopper Award for fielding and hitting whoppers. And if you don't like these other than chocolate covered raisins, these are my favorites. Just share them with me, okay, dude? All right? Okay. The next award.
Hey Jack, I'm gonna put a timer on for you. What do you want? 3 minutes?
No, 30.
Per player.
The next would be for Alex Acevedo, but he's not here. He got what we called the Baby Ruth Award because he had the most home runs. Okay, so home run hit. Again, this is in no particular order, but Braden.
Oh.
Sit down, get up here. Come on, get up here, hustle.
To me, Braden, because I'm sure, kind of like my son, you get the brunt of everything. Okay, I'm sure I'm harder on my son than everybody else, and I'm sure just like Kenny gets the lecture on the way home every game. I'm sure you probably get the lecture on the way home from every game too. It's not your turn yet. But one of the things that I noticed was how resilient
맛있겠다. 우리 좋아하는 거다.
that for the moment you were upset or
먹어볼까?
whatever, but 15, 20 seconds later you were back
와, 진짜 만들었네.
on what you had to do.
진짜
So to me, you were definitely have the resilience here.
보여줘봐.
Pretty much it's coached a couple years now with Braden and Coach Jack with the father. So I know what they kind of go through because when you have your own son and you try to just kind of back off and help him when things are getting a little rocky and you expect so much out of him, you think all this stuff you get, but then you have to think back and you can't push him. But the one thing with Braden that does a lot and why I really choke on it being one of the better ones because of all the positions you are able to play. I mean, it was really helpful for the team. Anytime shortstop, catcher, an extra inning catching, you know, they really get started and then pitch. It's remarkable. So I give my hat off for all of the stuff you do, all of this.
Lest all of you report me to Department of Family and Child Services or whatever it's called, DCFS, for child abuse. You all know that Braden at times has cried. At times, like almost every game. And we talk about that. One of the reasons he does is because he wants to win so badly, and if he feels like he's let down his team or hasn't succeeded himself, then he gets upset about it. He's 9 years old. We've talked about how to try to learn to control your emotions. And he goes, well, Dad, you're 58 and you haven't controlled yours, so what do you expect of me? I said, you're right. But one of the things that I've talked to Braden about through those times that you guys don't necessarily hear when I'm out on the mound and stuff, and which I've tried to teach his older brother, is to be mentally tough and to work through things, whether it's athletically or otherwise. And so I think sometimes, especially we in the Christian community, we want to protect our kids so much that we don't expose them to adversity or to the real world. It's obviously a fine, now I'm going out on my parenting soapbox as well as my coaching soapbox. But we want to protect them, and there are certain ways, of course, we need to protect them. But there's also ways that I think we need to expose them to the real world, so to speak, and what they'll face in the future within certain constraints, knowing how much that they can, accept and live with and thrive with and so forth. So we have those discussions. You've fallen down on the job. You only have the discussions with Kenny on the way home. We have them on the way to the and on the way home. And at bedtime. No.
I do the bedtime. We got that down.
But we talk about that, and he realizes that's something that he wanted to work on. But I put him sometimes intentionally put him in stressful situations or pressure situations because I want to help him hopefully learn how to deal with those situations. Sometimes he deals with them better than others, just like the rest of us. So that's my pitch for trying to prevent you guys from calling DCFS, but for the psychological abuse that Braden has been enduring under my coaching. But the award that Braden got was, as Jeff said, he's played a variety of positions. I want all you guys, again, remember, in any sport you play and in the family that you're in, no matter what it is, you are valuable in whatever role you play. My older son Jackson, he played every single position at Crespi High School in baseball in 1 year. In the same year, he played every position, and in one game, he played 7 different positions. And if you guys can make yourselves versatile, and you're more than just, I don't know where this expression came from, but more than just a one-trick pony, more than you can just do one thing, and you're versatile, and you do a lot of different things, then you'll be very valuable to your team. And so Braden did a good job in a variety of things, and we gave him what's called the Lifesavers Award. You know, the drop third strike thing was an important thing. Relief pitching is an important thing, and so forth. Because you get a strikeout, then drop third strike. You know, balls, pass balls, and so forth. And sometimes you were diving all over the place balls for life-saving pitching and catching. Lifesaver Award. Tyler, where are you, buddy? Mike.
All right. I have no idea what candy you have chosen for Tyler,
Okay.
but if
This
it
is
was
not
my
staged.
choice,
Listen, Liam,
if it was my choice, they would be Smarties.
listen.
Because to me, no matter what, he always seemed to know exactly where to be. When there was a throw coming from the thing, from first base, he was running to back up. He seemed to always know where people should be and where he should be, and he was always there. So that's the one thing that I really pick up from you, is it's obvious that whenever there was coaching about where to go, you were paying attention, because you always went where you were supposed to go.
Yeah, I have to reiterate that, and the main reason we kept him on first base. You could see it. You could count on Tyler being in the right place every time. Cut off. You didn't have to yell. If you heard Coach yelling at most of the time, Tyler was always there and reiterated. And in the position, and first base is not easy. And he learned so much and improved so much at that position that that was the main thing that I remember with Tyler. And we needed somebody there. You always needed this back. I remember all the other teams. You kind of, after half a season, you're going to have to start playing somebody at first base. Not that you want to change people in different positions, but for people to throw over there, you got to have somebody that's going to catch the ball and ground balls. So I give you a lot of credit with that. Vastly improved too.
Well, it sounds unanimous because, as Mike and Jeff both said, they didn't know what the award was going to be for you. And it's not called the Smarty Award, but it's the same thing. It's in the same vein. Each of us, obviously, as you will see by your award, thought that you were very reliable, smart, consistent, okay? You always knew where to be. More often than not, even with a bad throw, you were able to field the throw. A bad pickoff play, you were able to field it. Scott's play the other day, he made a great play, but the throw was a little hard and a little close and low, and you got it, and we still got the out. And that's what first basemen have to do. They have to pick balls in the dirt and field bad throws, and you were just so consistent. So we think that you were money. Consistent. You were money at first base, which is why you got the payday award. The next award is for Liam.
What is it?
All right.
Mike.
Liam, one of the biggest memories that I have of this season is we played a game over at Sybil, and you were playing center field, and somebody was playing right field. I have no idea. And a lazy fly ball went to that person in right field, and they missed it. And it ended up that there was a timeout. The coach was taking out the pitcher like he liked to do, or go out there and at least lecture him and all that stuff. And the right fielder was crying. And I remember you walking over to the right fielder, putting your arm around him and consoling him. And to me, that is one of the biggest memories I have of this season, is just your heart. And just how you were always there to encourage others, and if somebody messed up, you were always the first one there to console them when they came back to the dugout. So.
Very good. The biggest thing I think I would think of Liam is his hustle. Mainly like center field. He was, and that's one reason I think we kept him out there the last few games, is if they get by anybody, right center, whatever, or by him, he would hustle to the wall and get that ball in. So that was the main thing I think he really was apt for. And your hitting. You started to finally start swinging at the ball. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that. I'm saying the improvement. That's what I say. I saw the improvement at the end that you started swinging and look, you were hitting the ball really well. So that was it. Great improvements.
Good job, Liam.
Liam, I think, is the youngest player on the team. He's also overall one of the most athletic. I don't know what sport this kid's going to play, but he's going to play a sport and he's going to be very, very good at it. And maybe multiple sports. Liam has improved so much this season in every respect. He's hitting the ball. He's going to be able to hit the ball with power. But the thing, quite frankly, I'm disappointed in myself in a lot of different ways. The thing I'm really proud of is your throwing motion. Now, I don't know if you got it from me or not, but your throwing motion has
Didn't
improved
get it from
so
his
much.
parents.
Well, I don't know where you got it from, and it probably wasn't from me. But his throwing motion this year has improved so much. Did you see some of those throws from the outfield to third base and so forth? I mean, I don't remember necessarily at the beginning of the season, but I know they weren't like that last year, and I know they weren't like that at the beginning of the season. But at the end of the season, you were throwing the ball with velocity, straight, hard. You have a really nice overhand throw. And you are very fast, and in the outfield, you would either stop the ball or you would run and back somebody up and get it, and then you would throw the ball like a rocket. You are also going to be a pitcher, because when somebody has a little bit of time to work with you, which again, unfortunately, we didn't have this year, your throwing motion has improved so much that you are going to be a very, very good pitcher, and I know that's something that you want to do. So, this is a little plug for Jackson's summer workout lessons. No, just teasing. But when you have somebody to work with, you're going to be a great little pitcher. But the award you got, the play that I remember the most, and by the way, what Mike said about you is a testament to what a great teammate you are, and that's how all you guys want to be, and many of you are. We may not have mentioned that here, but many of you encouraged each other, and that's what you need to do as a teammate. That's what you need to do as a member of a family, as a member of a church, as a member of your school, is encourage others when they're down. But the play I remember the most was recently, where a hard hit ball. You want to explain it? Go ahead.
So the ball I had to dive.
Future lawyer, he's got the words too.
That's the play. But you didn't dive, you slid. So you went down, slid, it was a hard hit ball, he stopped it, came up throwing. At the beginning of the season, he would have held it for 10 minutes and said, what do I do now? And I'd go, throw the ball. He not only stopped it, but he threw it, he came up throwing right away with velocity to the right place. And therefore, for making great stops in the outfield, you got the Gobstopper Award. Jake.
해가지고 뭐 올리는 거야. 너무 잘하고.
Jake, unlike the rest of the team,
Boys,
I've had the pleasure to get to know you over the last 3 or 4 seasons. 3 at least, possibly 4. Okay. In every season, I lobby for you for the character award. Every season, whether it was with Bob or Jack. Because you always are the first one out there. Now part of it is because your family never leaves the field. But you can be there 8 hours and you want to be on that field all 8 hours. There's never a time when you don't, you can tell that no matter what, you want to be on that field playing with some group of kids, whether it's ballers or 12-year-olds or whatever, you're ready for a game at all times. You're just a joy, and you can just see the joy in your heart as you're out there every single day. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a pleasure. This is the first year we've had, and I'm always going like, wow, I remember when we played against them, and we were hoping that we could have him playing on our team, and we did, and I can see why, because he's just got a lot of hustle, always wants to be there playing. Too bad we couldn't have him in the outfield or something, with the left hand. It was a lot of pressure to put on you to play third base, but you did well as it was, and like you say, also the pitching. that we couldn't get more pitching in on you because it could have been really helpful overall at the end too. But when you need people to just come in and throw a couple innings, so. But it's been a pleasure, and vastly improving. He's probably athletically there, overall. So I hope we're back next year together.
Yeah. Jake is what I call a coach's dream. What you want as a coach is, you'd like to have a talented kid. That'd be great. But what you want is somebody who is willing to listen and willing to try to do to the best of their ability what you teach them and ask them to do. And Jake does that every single time. No back top. Never any back top. Never any not paying attention. Every time you talk to Jake, he looks you in the eye and he listens and he focuses, and then he goes out and he tries to do what you've asked him to do. That's what a coach wants. I don't want the most talented kid with a bad attitude. I want a kid who's willing to learn and who has a great attitude. Now, if he happens to be a super athlete like Jake, well, then that's even better. But I'd rather have a kid with inferior athletic ability who's willing to learn, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time, than some kid who's got superior athletic ability and isn't willing to listen. So Jake, you exemplify all those things. That's why you got the sportsmanship award. But in addition to the sportsmanship award, and I've never seen anybody on a baseball field as much as you. Do you ever go home? I mean, I know your parents are there late, in the snack bar and all that stuff. Do you sleep in the dugout? Because then when I get there the next morning, you're there. When I leave, you're still there. And then I get there the next morning, you're still there again. So, and your pants are still dirty. So I don't know whether you sleep in the dugout or what. But this kid loves baseball. I don't know if you'll have anything. I don't know what other sports you play, but I know you love baseball. And as athletic as he is, he can play at any position, and he is also going to be a pitcher. Again, wish we had more time. But with left hand, Kenny, and we'll get to you in a minute, left-handed pitchers who have velocity and and they even have movement on their ball, natural movement on their ball because of their arm slot and the release point and stuff that you can't teach a kid. It's just something natural. They both have it, and when they throw harder, it's going to become even more pronounced. And you're going to be a pitcher, okay? You're not going to be a third baseman. There's no left-handed third basemen in the bigs, but there are a lot of left-handed pitchers in the bigs. That's where you're headed, okay? So, but as athletic as he is, and as smart as he is, and as much baseball IQ as he has, there's not anybody else I would have sent home the last game, stealing home. Sorry, guys. Probably nobody else. But I saw that the pitcher was in a windup. It wasn't rehearsed with Jake. I called the timeout. I told Tyler not to swing because they don't want you to take his head off, right? And thank you for not swinging. Thank you for listening. And I told Jake that when I say go, you run home as fast as you can and you slide.